So welcome to Season of Change, transforming your life through the power in the Word of God. My name is Joseph Jeremiah. I remain your host on this platform. And tonight, I have my guest from United States of America, a coach, a speaker, an author, and a pastor of the Gospel of Jesus Christ. And tonight, we have our guest on this platform, Dea. You're welcome to Season of Change.
Thank you so much, Joseph. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you and to possibly bring some value to your listeners. And thank you for the work that you're doing in Nigeria, northern Nigeria.
Thank you. God bless you. Welcome to this platform once again. So we'll be moving quickly to the questions we have on our desk here for our guests tonight. I want to ask you, how do you come about this topic?
That's a great question. I tell you, belonging, it's all about belonging because belonging is important. And I consider myself the belonging mentor. My husband graduated from seminary and we moved 13 hours away from anything or anybody I knew with two little babies under 2 years old and our few earthly possessions, which if you've ever traveled with children, it's mostly children equipment that you're traveling with. When you take babies, they take a lot of space. We moved to this new Central Florida location, and our task was to plant a church. And there were 7 people interested in planting a church. My husband got busy going out every day, talking to people, meeting people. And I was at home being very busy 24/7 with new baby and young toddler mom duties. And I got exhausted and really felt lonely for the first time in my life because I had grown up in this very small community where I knew everybody in town, everybody knew me, and there was a real sense of belonging, a community. You might even call it a tribe. I knew where I belonged. And now I was out in the middle of a place that I didn't know anyone. I was just alone. And for the first time, I realized how important it is for people to belong, to be part of a community, to know where your roots and where your anchor is, where your identity is. And from that point on, when I realized that many people feel lonely, and you can feel lonely in the middle of a crowd as well. I mean, there were people in town. I just didn't know anybody and was too tired and exhausted to make new friends, but I felt alone. And 2 things happened from that. One, I determined to wherever we were, whatever we were doing, I wanted other people to feel like they belonged. But the other benefit, I would say, from a Christian perspective, was that, oh no, if I have nobody but Jesus, that's good to have Jesus. So I learned the Psalms. I fell in love again with the God of the Bible that cared about me, that saw me in my loneliness. But I've realized that belonging is important because we as people need to belong. We need to know our identity. And as we served churches over 40 years, as we raised our 8 children over 3 decades, we had a sense of belonging in our home. And then when I stepped out into the business world, I owned a restaurant for 7 years, and now I'm a real estate agent. Wherever people are, there is the need to feel like you belong. And how could I communicate how to build a sense of belonging if you're a leader? You're a leader. You're a leader in your church. You're a leader online with your podcast. How can you help people know that they are a part of your community? What I came up with was you can claim your people. That's what my book that I wrote is about, Amazon bestseller book, Claim Your People at Work. We can talk about it, claiming your people at work, but you know what? You can claim your people in your church. Claim your people in your home. Claim yourself. And what's really cool is claim is also what God has done for us. So if you want to ask a question, I can keep talking, but you might want to say something in between here.
Yeah. So what, I just want to move to another question. So what are your mission to share this message, to share your message?
My mission is, one, for people to be aware of the need of every human to have a sense of belonging. The second mission is to focus in, because like I just said, this message is good for every aspect of wherever there are people. But where I see it needed most, at least in America, it may be different in Nigeria, it needs to happen in the workplace.
Yes.
When the pandemic happened, we had the Great Resignation. People were just, well, they were shut out at home, but then they didn't come back. They found other things to do or find other employment or decided to be their own boss, whatever. Nobody felt, well, so many people felt like they did not belong at the workplace enough to come back. Or if they did, they weren't real excited to be there, so they aren't really engaged. So the business world needs this. Everybody needs it wherever there's a person, because people have human needs. We all need to have a sense of belonging.
Thank you very much. So how do you come about with the acronym?
The
Claim.
acronym, yes. What does CLAIM stand for? Each one of these letters is one of the facets or one of the parts of this leadership. So the C stands for chosen. When you apply for a job and you get chosen, you feel great. If you have a leader that is looking for someone to do a special job and you get chosen for that special job, you feel great. People want to know that they are chosen. And as a leader, you can help your people, even if you inherit them, you come in and there's a team that that's already there, and then you're suddenly asked to lead them. You can let them know that you choose to continue to choose to work with them, that you can affirm them and say, I'm glad that you're part of the team, and I'm glad that I can choose you to work with me. So the C stands for chosen. The L stands for loved. Now, in the workplace, we're talking about love. Yes, loved in the workplace means a safe, secure environment where a person knows that they can, you as a leader are approachable. Someone knows that they can come talk to you about a situation at work, or make suggestions, or request changes, because it's a secure, safe environment and there's a relationship there. That's the L. Chosen, loved. And the A, what do you think the A means? People want to be chosen, they want to be loved. What do you think the A might stand for? And your English is great, way better than my Nigerian, but you may have a limited knowledge of the English language with an A. What do you think,
B,
people?
association.
Association. That's a good, yay, you thought of an A word. People want to know that they're acknowledged.
Mm.
People want to be seen. They want to be heard, and they want to be empowered. When you acknowledge someone, you're saying, I see you, I hear you, and I know you exist. Now, there are 3 simple ways you can acknowledge someone. One is when you're talking to them in person, look them in the eye. If you're having a Zoom meeting, find your camera and look in the camera. You can come through the lens to them. You're acknowledging, I see you. So looking a person in the eye. The second way that you can acknowledge someone, Joseph, is by using their name. How special is it when someone calls you by name? You're saying you have your own identity and I see you. And I recommend when you're in a conversation with someone, using that person's name, even practicing it when you're out and about, if someone has a name tag on. Thank you, Sarah, for helping me with this. I appreciate it, John, that you did, served me, or thank you. Using a person's name, it says, I see you there as an individual. You're acknowledging their existence. And you might be the only person that is acknowledging that person that day. Of course, you can acknowledge as a leader, you can acknowledge tasks that they've done well. They've accomplished a project. They've done this, this, this. Look at you. We're gonna celebrate you with a certificate or a prize or whatever. But even before that, acknowledging someone's individuality, an individual with an identity. And here's the interesting third way you can acknowledge someone is just smile at them. Do you know that a smile is more contagious than the flu?
Yes.
You can change the world with a smile. So acknowledge people. People want to know they're chosen and loved and acknowledged. And the I. People want to know that as a leader, you are investing in them. You're investing in them in your energy, in your money, that's always good, in your resources, training, experiences, but more importantly, you can invest in your people with time. Even children spell love, T-I-M-E. If you spend time with a child, not buying them everything that you didn't have, but spending time with children, that says, I see you, I hear you, and you are worth it. So I am investing in you. And that's the I. The M, I kind of cheated. I have 3 answers for this one. The first 2 are 2 phrases. People want to know that they're made for greatness. And when I say greatness, I don't mean president of a country or Nobel Peace Prize winner. I mean, they are everything that they were meant to be, and the world needs them to be all of that.
Yes.
God created them for good works before, so that they could walk in them, and all of that greatness is the world needs. All your skills, your passions, your experiences, your knowledge, all of that put together makes you the you are, and the world needs it. And when you're bringing that greatness into the world, you are making a difference. Do you ever skip a rock on the water? Do you know what I mean by that? Where you find this flat rock, and it's got to be just the right size, and you got to practice it a few times. You throw it at an angle, and it will bounce across the water. And every time it touches down, it makes ripples. And if your rock was strong enough, you could throw it out in the middle of the ocean, and it would make ripples that would go on every shore. When we bring our greatness out into the world, the impact we can make will be like those ripples on every shore, because that is what our bringing our greatness does. And the last M for this is people want to know, bottom line, they matter. They matter. If they don't show up for work, you miss them. There's another M. They matter as someone in your church. They have gifts and abilities that other people don't, that they're bringing to a church. So that is chosen, loved, acknowledged, invested in, and made for greatness.
Wow, that's great. So you call this part facts. So why?
I call it what?
You call it facts.
Oh, facets.
Yes,
Yes.
the facts.
It's called facets because, like on a diamond, the sides of a diamond are the facets, multifaceted, and you can't take one of those out. It's just part of it. So same with this. If you are choosing someone, you're loving them, and you're acknowledging that they exist, and you're investing in them when you choose them, and letting them know that they matter. So wherever you start, each one of these folds in on the other, and you are together claiming your people. And if I can, just a second, talk about the gospel in this. Here it is. God chose us before the foundation of the world, and he loved us so much that he acknowledged our need of a savior and invested Jesus in us, because now we are made for greatness. He's created the works that we walk in, that he prepared beforehand, because we're a new creation. So God is claiming us, choosing us, loving us, acknowledging our need, and investing Jesus, because we're made for, and making us matter, making us great.
That's great. I'm enjoying this, and it's very interesting.
I hope so.
So what are the times facets?
What are the
times facets?
well, the facets work together in, like I mentioned, in a church. As you're leading in a church, people need to know that that you're going to invest time in them to minister to them, or that they matter, and that God sees them as someone that's valuable, that they can contribute, that we all are missionaries. Someone once said, you are either a missionary or you need one. So either we are being missionaries wherever you are, even if it's just next door to your neighbor. So letting people know in the church, in the home, as a parent, as you are raising children, and we did that for 3 decades. We kept thinking we were done, and we kept getting blessed with more. So you can claim your family, letting people know in your family that they are important, that they're loved, that they can approach you, your kids can approach you. You're training them to be thinkers. You're investing time in helping them to grow, to learn, to mentor them, to disciple them.
Wow, that's great. So why is belonging important in a place of work, in a workplace, or in the church, or maybe in the family?
According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he did a little chart about what motivates people and what people need to be able to progress. And the very first foundation, of course, would be food, clothing, and shelter. I mean, if you don't have food, you're not going to last very long. If you don't have shelter, you're not going to last very long. And you need clothing, or you're not going to last very long. So let's say you have your food, clothing, and shelter. What's next? Safety. People need to know that they are safe in whatever wherever they are, whether it's wild animals coming and attacking a village, or it's a shooter walking down the street. The next level, let's say you have your food, clothing, shelter, and safety. The very next need of man is to belong. And in the workplace, they did a survey of companies that provided a community of belonging. If they did that, that company had a production increase in their production by 58%. That's over doubling. And if they had a community of belonging, they had a 50% decrease in turnover. People aren't leaving because they want to be there. That boosts your bottom line, not having to replace them. But the impressive statistic that I saw was, if you have a community of belonging, and this could work in the church as well, there is a 75% decrease in employee sick days. What if when you had your church gathering, all these people had to be there because they wanted to be there, and they weren't not showing up? I mean, in the workplace, 75% of the sick days being taken means somebody's not at work and somebody's not doing their job. So a sense of belonging does increase your bottom line, helps with your belonging, belonging boosts your bottom line. And that's true in a church as well. We built community in all of our churches, and we would go from that 7 people church to 100 people, or 17 people in one church went to 200. So if you help people know that they are chosen, loved, acknowledged, invested in, and made for greatness, they'll not only feel like they belong, but then stay, but they will help take your company or your church to a higher level.
So thank you very much there. God bless you. So I want to ask one question. How can we implement this to church, in a church?
Wonderful question. One opportunity you have is, I do have a downloadable ebook free on my website that talks about it. But discipleship, training your people, and well, actually, it goes back before that. As a leader, you have to accept that God claims you, and then you have to claim yourself. You can't pour out of an empty cup. You have to fill your cup with the love of God to be able to pour that out to the people in the church. If you are developing leaders in the church, you need to invest time in those people to help them know, be equipped to do the task that they're being called to do. There's so much for every facet of this, for every part of this, to implement this in the church. I would say the bottom line is you have to know that God has claimed you and accept that, and spend time with God to fill your tank so that you can then pour that out on the people in your church. Does that
thank you
help?
very much. Yes, that was okay. So what impact will claim have on the church once you implement it?
It will impact the gospel, because people that know that they're claimed by God and are being trained and discipled will then be able to serve more. A church that has a strong community operates better like an army instead of a hospital, an infirmary. Does that make sense? If you have a hospital, and there are people that are sick that come to, that need God, that come to church for healing, and I don't mean like a broken arm or a disease. I mean, emotionally, they need healing. Relationally, they need healing. But if they're in a community, they will find healing and then be healthy and be able to give to others. The more that they can grow, it says that we are to grow in our faith and our knowledge, and the more the leaders help the people grow, the more you claim your people and help them grow, the more that you disciple them. That's what we're supposed to do, go into all the world and make disciples. Making disciples, that's actually a participle, where you're making disciples along the way.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's how.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I want to move to the next one. Why did you decide to write on this topic?
Because I felt like I had to choose a category to reach out to. And I felt like most people in the business world think business is all about business, and that the people that work for them are just assets, instead of, hey, wake up. Those people are people with people needs, and belonging is important in the workplace. Soft skills like emotional intelligence, that's important in the workplace. And I felt the need to draw attention to that in the workplace.
Wow, thank you very much. So I want to ask you, what other materials do you have on this topic?
On this particular topic, I do have some ebooks on my website under complimentary resources, and that would help. I have other books that are on Amazon, that a devotional journal for young mothers, devotional journal for women seeking God. I've got a couple of parenting books, and I've got a cookbook. I mean, why not?
Wow. So before we bring the meeting to conclusion, I want you to just briefly tell people how they can get connected to you, your social media handles, your website, and how they can get your books.
Joseph, thank you for that opportunity. Yes, I would love to connect with your people. And as you see my name, Dea, Dea Irby, Irby, that's my website address, deairby.com. You can go there and get connected. Dea Irby is not a very common name, so you'll find me easily on Facebook, LinkedIn, all the socials, but mostly go to my website and you can find information there. Also, Amazon, you can put Dea Irby and you'll find my author page. You can go to YouTube, put Dea Irby, and my TEDx talk should come up. I did a TEDx talk on the magic of the meal.
Wow, thank you so much. So I believe you have a take-home message for our listeners and our audience. So what is the take-home message you have for them?
Well, I have a final word I'd like to say, but a take home is I created a white paper about 3 strategies as a leader, and you can use this in the church as well. 3 strategies for yawn-free meetings. How can you, as a leader who usually calls meetings, make sure people want to be there? And we can put that in the comments below this recording, 3 strategies for yawn-free meetings. But my final word to your listeners, whether they connect again with me or not, I want them to hear, you are made for greatness. The world is waiting for you to bring your greatness into the world. There is someone, maybe only one person, maybe thousands of people who are waiting for you to bring your greatness into the world.
Thank you so much. God bless you. We so much enjoy your time being on this platform. We're so much exciting. I just want you to display some of your book on the screen for people to see.
There's I have this one, and you can't see all of those back there.
Yeah.
My cookbook, my parenting books, my devotional books, and Chicken Soup for the Soul books. I think you can find those on Amazon. I'm not sure. Thank you. Thank you for that.
So thank you so much. I believe we would like to have you again on this platform. We so much enjoy your time with us. It's a great time having you on this platform, dear. You are such a great, wonderful woman, and a woman with purpose.
Oh, thank you, Joseph. It's been my pleasure to share, and thank you for sharing your listeners with me to give time for them. And I hope they are able to follow my Southern accent.
I believe they will do that because it's very clear.
All right.
Thank you so much. God bless you. We'll be bringing the recording to a close, to a stop. Now, while we do some other discussion. So God bless you. This is